Our practice will be to mentally construct the octahedron and cube Platonic duals pair, and then to transform their size and color. We will be observing also how this practice activates new circuits in the mind, feeling the energetic shifts in the head which accompany our actively visualizing and transforming these geometric forms. Please remember that you can pause the video of my teaching you this practice whenever you would like more time to perform each step. We will begin with our energy field awareness practice to get a baseline for our beginning state, so that we can then perceive the changes in ourselves from doing this practice. Simply close your eyes for a moment and tune into the feeling of energy inside and around your body. Don't try to change or manipulate anything. Just observe the feelings in different parts of your body and throughout your entire energy field. Then observe what emotions or thoughts are present as a background in your current state. Now we can begin the practice itself. We will show you on the video some stages of the exact visualization you will need to do as a guide. However, please be aware that simply watching the video will not activate these internal circuits fully. To get the full benefits, you must do the practice yourself with eyes closed, mentally generating and transforming each form internally. You will be creating in this exercise 3 Platonic solids nested inside of one another. So make the first form you visualize in the exercise fairly large in your mind space, so you have space for the other 2 forms to be created inside of it. Now we will create this first large form in your mind space. Begin by visualizing a single point of light in space, the zero-dimensional gateway to the divine plane, the 0 point. From this point, draw a line of light upwards and downwards, creating a one-dimensional line of light, the first dimension in space connecting heaven and earth. Then draw a line of light from the original point out to the right and left sides, 90 degrees to the top-down line, creating the second dimension of space, and creating an equilateral cross of light on a flat plane. Then draw a line of light out from the central point to both the front and the back, at 90 degrees to both other lines you've created. This will create a 3-axis cross, which we described previously as the cubical cross, which makes up the 3 dimensions of physical space. Make sure all the lines of light extend the same distance outwards from the central point of light. What energy movements or shifts do you feel in your head or body from creating this form in your mind space? Now make a line of light connecting the top point of the 3-axis cross to both ends of the side-to-side axis line, and then from the top point to both ends of the front-back axis line. Then create lines of light that connect the front-back points to the side points, so that all 4 of the front-back and side-to-side points are now connected together into a square. You have now constructed a 3-dimensional pyramid of light at the top of the cross. Now make a line of light connecting the bottom point of the 3-axis cross to both ends of the side-to-side axis line, and then to both ends of the front-back axis line. You have now constructed 2 pyramids of light, one up and one down, sharing the same base. This is the octahedron, the Platonic solid for the air. We see now how it is constructed out of the 3 axes of physical space. Fill in the triangular sides of the octahedron so that they are not hollows, but become flat triangular solid faces. What energy movements or shifts do you feel in your head or body from creating this octahedral form in your mental space? Now place your attention on the very center of each of the 4 triangular faces on the top pyramid of the octahedron. Draw straight lines of light connecting the center of each of the 4 faces to the center of each adjacent face. This creates a square of light connecting the centers of the 4 top faces of the octahedron. Now place your attention on the very center of each of the 4 triangular faces on the bottom pyramid of the octahedron. Now draw straight lines of light connecting the center of each of the 4 faces to the center of each adjacent face. This creates another square connecting the centers of the 4 bottom faces. This square hovers directly below the square connecting the centers of the 4 top faces. Now simply draw a straight vertical line of light to connect each of the corners of the bottom square to the corner directly above it of the top square. Fill in the sides of all 6 square faces to make them solid. You have now created the cube, the dual form of the octahedron. Now place your attention on the very center of each of the 6 square faces of the cube. Draw lines of light from the center of the top square directly to the centers of the 4 side faces. Then connect with lines of light the centers of each of the 4 side faces to the center of both adjacent faces. You have now constructed a pyramid inside of the cube. Now draw lines of light connecting the centers of the 4 side faces of the cube to the center of the bottom square face, creating an octahedron. Make the 8 triangular faces of the octahedron solid. You have now used the Platonic dual method to connect divine centers, which then manifests the outer forms of the octahedron of air and the cube of earth. You now have an octahedron within a cube within an octahedron. Now use your mental power to make the large outer octahedron a blue color. Then make the middle cube a green color. Then make the small inner octahedron a red color. What energy movements or shifts do you feel in your head or body from adding color to these 3 forms and holding that inner visualization steady? Is the image of the 3 forms and their colors rock steady on your internal mental screen, or does it fade in and out as you need to continually remind yourself and recreate the form? Just observe how strong your visualization power is right now, knowing it will get stronger very quickly every time you repeat this practice in the future. This mental strengthening is key to developing creative visualization and manifestation powers. Keeping the cube steady and immobile between the 2 octahedra, rotate the outer blue octahedron clockwise. Then rotate the inner red octahedron counterclockwise. You now have 2 octahedra of different sizes and different colors, counter-rotating with an immobile green cube between them. What energy movements or shifts do you feel in your head or body from creating and counter-rotating these forms in your mental space? If you are sensitive, you may have noticed specific energy activations in your head or your body when making and transforming these Platonic solid forms. You may have felt a specific energy activation in your head or body when adding in the colors, and then felt a very different energy activation when you began to rotate and counter-rotate the forms. This classical practice with creating and rotating sacred geometry forms is just the beginning of this path, which can develop great mind power within us. This type of practice can activate key energy circuits in the head and body, developing our capacity to perceive and create forms on the mental plane. These mental forms we create are not abstractions. They can be perceived by true clairvoyance and by higher spiritual beings, such as the angelic beings described in the Western tradition. In fact, it is easier for higher spiritual beings to perceive these kinds of geometric thought forms that we generate than it is for them to perceive our physical bodies. This ability to create mental images on higher plane levels leads in time to more advanced stages of inner development, as we strengthen our ability to perceive and communicate with higher worlds through this new mind power. If you had difficulty visualizing the forms, or adding color, or adding movement, don't despair. Simply observe what parts were easy for you and which were difficult. This shows you the area you now need to work on to strengthen that aspect of your mind power. As we mentioned at the outset, these kinds of mental practices require activating a particular energy pathway in your head, which is similar to flexing a physical muscle. And just like a physical muscle, you will strengthen it greatly every time you use it in practices like this. This exercise starts the process of opening up your internal vision on the first non-physical consciousness level, which is known in the Western tradition as the astral plane. The term aster means star, meaning a source of light in the cosmic darkness. For more information on core spiritual development exercises like these, please see the online trainings in spiritual science on my website www.vesica.org.